we could say, or it's been said, that humans by nature are looking for patterns in the environment and then for meaning in those patterns. And it seems like part of what you're saying in the magic of modern art is that language doesn't adequately capture that understanding of modern art. That describing this cannot be done with words. Would you say that's accurate?
I would say that's accurate. However, there is something, like one way to gain access to being present with the art is to either verbally or just in one's own mind simply describe what you're seeing, just to get present, like, oh, that's a painting, and it's this large, and it has these kinds of colors, and it has this kind of texture, and it's not realistic. This is just an example, of course. It's not realistic, but it does seem to suggest some actual subject matter, and I get this feeling of movement from it. That kind of thing can really be valuable as one way to access it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would always recommend that the ultimate is to set aside all the thinking. And then I had an experience recently where I went and saw an art show at a local gallery, and it was there were lots of fairly small to medium sized pieces, and they had tiny little holes, bigger than a pinprick, but smaller than a hole punch, and they were perfect little holes, and the paper was raised from another sheet of paper in the background, so you'd see little subtle shadows that the holes were casting on the paper behind, and that's all they were, and they were really there was this kind of sense of pristineness because they were all white, and subtlety because the shadows were so light, and they made these beautiful patterns, and I really loved it. And then afterwards, I read about the work, and it turned out that the holes were not randomly placed as a design, that it was Morse code, and that there was a specific topic that the Morse code was describing. And so that added something to it, but I prefer, and I also recommend, that people have the experience before finding out the information. And yes, the information was like, oh, that's interesting. But if I had gone in knowing that, then that's what I would have been thinking about, and it would have colored the experience. And I want the experience as well as the information.
Yes.